So I took a guided tour of Stockholm this morning, and I was on the bus before the tour started, and there was Wi-Fi. So I went on Twitter because I was thinking of tweeting about how my bus driver looked like Elder Price from the Book of Mormon. At the top of my feed there were a few tweets from my friend Robin, and she was tweeting an actor that we both really like. We've seen him in live things, and he was in Les Mis. His name is Fra Fee, and her tweets to him were about misogyny and sexism and how he should apologise for something. So obviously I was intrigued, and I went to, scroll through his tweets to see what had started all of this. And the tweet that started all of this was a tweet that he made to another actor that we really like, George Blagden, and his tweet was, quote, "Reply to my text, bitch, I'm in Dublin next Friday," with a little kiss because they are such cuties. And my first reaction when I saw this was, that's it? I looked through what Robin had tweeted to him and what a few others had tweeted to him as well. And the issue that they were taking was that he had used the word bitch in his tweet. And then the bus moved off and Wi-Fi vanished, and I was kind of, turning this over in my head as we were driving through Stockholm. I used the word bitch, but not against women, not as a slur, usually in the context of, something difficult being a bitch, or, bitching someone out, bitching behind someone's back, that sort of thing. But you have to be so careful what you say on the internet because it's a public forum. Before today, I'm not sure whether I would have thought twice about using it, but I definitely would now. Fra got quite defensive about the stuff that people were tweeting to him, and this is the standard reaction when someone gets called out on their sexism, especially if they never meant it, in an intentionally harmful way, or if they didn't think that they were being sexist, for example. Halfway through the trip, we made a pit stop, essentially. I knew that Robin had tweeted Fra the link to this blog post, so I started to read that, and bus moved off before I could finish it, so I finished reading it back at the flat and the article that was linked in the blog post, which was a really interesting read. And by the end of that, I was convinced. Not a good word. Not a good word to use. And I already knew this. Bitch is a swear word, it's a bad word, but it's not a bad word in the way that other swear words are bad words, because it is a sexist slur. And the fact that it is used, so much in our society is not a good thing, because there are no good associations with the word bitch. Like in school, if you call someone a bitch, it means that you think that they're not a nice person. Bitches are vacuous, they're stupid, they're irritating, they're insensitive. Bitches aren't nice people. They're women that you want to avoid, not people you want to be friends with. Those are the associations that come with calling someone a bitch. Like Kat in 10 Things I Hate About You, she is called a bitch. She takes some sort of strength from this, but it does give people permission to mock her and to degrade her to her face and behind her back. They can write her off as just a bitch. She is the bitch of her high school, and so people kind of are allowed. It's accepted to, be mean to her, essentially. Cordelia in Buffy and Angel is a self-proclaimed bitch. She calls herself a bitch, and she kind of claims the title as her own. She sort of tries to claim the good things about being a bitch, being strong, being empowered, being outspoken, and, taking shit from no one. But other people still are cruel to her. The main cast of Buffy, especially in the early season, they look down on her, and you're kind of given permission to not like her because she is a bitch. And the use of the word bitch got me thinking about the way that I use the word cunt. I like the word cunt as a word. It's, it's got a real nice punch to it, but it's different from bitch because cunt at least has positive origins, and I'll link a Lacey Green video that explains that because I can't be bothered to go into that now. At least cunt, you can validly say that you are reclaiming that for women. Cunt is also another word for vagina, which is, an awesome body part and should be celebrated, absolutely. And cunt hasn't, pervaded our language to the extent that bitch has. If someone says the word cunt, it's an outrage. Someone using the word bitch, not so. And, to the point where when I saw Fra's tweet, my initial reaction was, that's it? Because it's so much a part of our culture that using the word bitch is okay. Fra missed pretty much all of the points people were making to try and get him to understand why he was being offensive. One of his defensive lines was that these people were being overly sensitive and too concerned with political correctness. And that irritated me, I think, more than anything else, because I really don't like it when people associate political correctness with being, like, whiny, being annoying, being, just being a bad thing. Why is political correctness considered a bad thing? What is bad about being sensitive to other people, being considerate and being compassionate? Using, offensive language among my friends is one matter. I tend to insult my friends, I call my friends names as a, terms of endearment and affection. And using it with my friends is one thing, but using it online on a public platform is a completely different ballgame. For instance, on YouTube and on Tumblr and on Twitter, I'm very careful. I try to be very careful about what I say, because I know that I have a big audience, and guaranteed within the audience I have on YouTube alone, absolutely 100% guaranteed, there are survivors of various kinds of abuse watching me right now. And these are literally the last people I want to alienate and hurt. And how much of an asshole would I be if all I said to these people when, if they told me that they were hurt by something I had said was, "I'm sorry you were offended, it's just my opinion." And that's just the wrong kind of response. That your response, my response to that sort of thing should be, "I'm sorry I was offensive, how can I alter my behaviour or my language so that I don't do that in the future?" Because people rarely, if ever, get offended over nothing, especially when it comes to slurs against them. So in the future, I think I'm gonna try and cut the word bitch out of my vocabulary. I mean, it's not that difficult. I've done it before with other words. I've cut, slut, hoe, whore, retard, and spastic, for instance, out of my vocabulary. And after a while, it becomes second nature. You find alternatives, to express what you mean when you said those words before. And, I don't use those words anymore because I understand how they contribute to a system of oppression. So what if it's a little bit difficult? Being a good person, doing good things, it's rarely easy. Just because everyone else is saying or doing something, it doesn't make it the right thing to do. So at the end of this, I think I've come away with a different perspective, a better perspective. People's capacity to change and grow is one of the best things about them. And in a lot of cases, it just means accepting that you've been an asshole in the past and, accepting that and moving on. And, if you need to, apologising for it. So these are just, a few of my thoughts, and I'd be really interested to hear any of yours, so shout them out in the comment section. And I'm gonna link the blog post that Robin tweeted to Fra, and also the article that was referenced in the blog post, because that was a fantastic read, and you should read that if, you're still thinking that, there can be positive connotations to the word bitch, or, it's not that big of a deal, or if you're just interested in the research behind it, because it is really interesting. Okay, this took entirely too long to film. Take something like 11 by now. I'll just stare at the camera for a while.
You have the same skin color like the
This is what I'm reduced to.
You can make a really nice movie out of it.
Out of what?
The bits and pieces.
All of my mistakes. Every single way the camera can screw up. A 5-part documentary by me. I could put this at the end as bloopers.